This is the talk of Music City Real Estate.
Welcome back to another episode of the Talk of Music City Real Estate,
where we educate and motivate all things real estate.
My name is Monty Moore with Realty One Group Music City.
Hey, and I'm Carrie Ann with CMG Financial and My Mortgage Team.
Every week we'll be posting a new episode chock full of Nashville real estate value.
Yes, and you can follow along and subscribe at talkmusiccity.com.
Got a question for us? Ask away at questions@talkmusiccity.com.
Monty.
Carrie Ann, so good to see your smile.
Look at all these people in the house
I know.
today.
We've got Mr. Jason Hoover. We're excited to have Jason back. Thank you, Jason, for joining us today.
And the very talented Wes Poole is with us.
Wes Poole from Punchlist
USA.
If you haven't heard about Punchlist, realtor friend, you are in for a treat today. I'm telling you what. I mean, after 39 years of this business, I've really learned to respect certain vendors. And Punchlist is really close to the top of those vendors, okay? Imagine this. How many times have people lost deals because they got this damn inspection report back that scared the buyer, to death because the buyer, wasn't familiar with construction and then the inspector, of course, is trying to stay out of court, so he's listing everything and anything. And so many of these homes cannot stand against the scrutiny of a really intense inspector who, again, wants to stay out of court. They're just trying to, cover themselves. And then we get this long sheet, and now what do we do to protect the deal? Do we call Billy Bob and his twin sister Sally Sue, or do we call, try to get a hold of a contractor, a professional who, will put a warranty, will put a time frame, has somebody answering the phone, this kind of things. And I love Punchlist because they're the latter of that description, only even better.
Well, how amazing is it that, Jason, we're back to inspections? Hey.
Yeah, really. Imagine that.
That's the other thing, right? We went so long without inspections, and now I'm starting to get these text messages and these sad, calls about this is now going on with my home and that's going on with my home. So we're excited to have you, Wes. You're being welcomed with open arms now that got the inspection. And like Monty said, they can sometimes be super scary depending on what's on that list.
So let's just give a quick overview of what a Punchlist does so that people can right off connect with why we're excited about having you on this show. So in the past, there was this gap of time. Maybe it would take a week, maybe 2 weeks to get somebody out to look at the problem. And so by then maybe the buyer has lost their momentum or whatever, but now instead we have the option of taking that inspection report and emailing that to you guys, and within a very short amount of time, you guys then respond with a legitimate estimate with a little bit of variable, I guess. My experience with Punchlist has only been positive. It's been empowering. So thank you, first of all, for that. And just make sure we understand the concept so people can connect here.
Tell us all things Punchlist.
Yes. I'm the guy to do that. First of all, thank you for having me. This is amazing. I've never been on this side of a podcast before. I'm a big podcast nut myself. I was listening to a true crime podcast.
All right. Well, good news. There's no murder here.
Nobody dying here today, hopefully.
No blood.
Exactly. Yeah, so that was a great description, Monty. Essentially the way that I describe podcast Punchlist is we are essentially a renovation and repair company.
Okay.
That is not unique, though. What makes us unique is the estimate process.
Right.
So, typically if a real estate agent gets an inspection report back and they're going to address, let's say, 5 or 10 items on there, at that point, the agent has to pick up the phone and start calling plumbers, electricians, handymen, no call, no shows. Maybe they don't answer the phone. They don't return phone calls.
Right.
So it's a frustrating process.
And you don't know how frustrating until you go through that.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a headache for real estate agents. It really is. And I like to say that we're the Advil to that headache.
Wow. I like that.
Wow.
So, we cure what ails you in that situation. So yes, when you get an inspection report back, we actually have an account set up for each real estate agent. Log into the account, takes 1 or 2 minutes to upload that inspection report, and then we return to the agent or the homeowner. Doesn't have to be an agent. We typically deal with agents. A free next day, including weekends, line item cost estimate of everything on that inspection report. So it's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Now, most things that show up on an inspection report, we know the cost of, right? We do thousands of these every month. We have so much data in our system to where we know what a GCFI outlet in the Nashville market, for example, is going to cost, right? Some things, if it's a bigger project like a bathroom remodel, or if there's something like water damage, we don't want to just throw a number.
Right.
That's going to get everybody in trouble, right? So in those situations, we actually go out to the house and do a free site visit. We've got local teams, W-2 Punchlist employees who do the site visits and walk through with the clients. So it's really an easy process. It frees up agents' time so that they can be what Monty would prefer them to be doing is prospecting, right? Instead of chasing after plumbers or whatever the case may be. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Now, are these workers, are they somebody, I used to not have a great mover, and now I have a great mover. And I swear one of the movers I used, they picked up their help along the way at various corners because they didn't know what they're doing. So my point is, are these just handy guys that said, hey, yeah, I can swing a hammer, or are these legitimate people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they are legitimate people. So we will not work with contractors that are not licensed and insured. We do background checks on them before bringing them on. There's certain protocols that they have to follow, like wearing some sort of punch list hat or T-shirt, so that the person knows it's a legitimate person going out there. But we actually have a vetting process for our contractors as well. So if they do a good job in the post-work survey that we send to the homeowner or the client, then we bump them up the list and we send them more work orders.
Nice.
If they're doing a bad job, we bump them off the list.
Right.
Now I'm not saying that we haven't run into some bad apples. Every now and again, we got to let a contractor go, right? But we're constantly vetting our contractors, and we deal with all different trades, GCs all the way down to handymen, painters, whatever it may need.
And your percentage so let's say you send it back within the next day and or you do a site fit, is there a guarantee of a certain percentage not to go over? How does that work?
A certain percentage
of the estimate. So you're guesstimating the estimate to be $5,000. How close are you to that
number? Good question. So on that estimate, I'm actually glad you asked this question because I can describe the estimate to you. It looks kind of like a shopping cart, like an Amazon shopping cart experience. Each line item has a dollar figure next to it.
I love that you break it down like that. That's really helpful.
Right.
Because sometimes you may want to eliminate things or maybe even add something because you see each one. Yeah.
That's exactly right. So if there's 50 things on an inspection report and you only want to address 5 of them, you can remove all the rest of the items, and as you do that dollar total at the bottom will update. But with what you were talking about, Carrie Ann, so for those individual items that are just everyday items, it's an accurate estimate.
Okay.
Unless we get out there and there's something crazy going on.
Sure.
Well, crawl spaces with water, for instance.
Exactly.
We had that challenge a while back. It's really hard to predict.
Exactly.
What has the water done? How long has it been under there? How bad is the mold? All that kind of stuff.
Water keeps us alive, but it can kill a house.
It can kill a house.
No doubt about it. But on that estimate that we send to you, down at the bottom, there's an evaluate section. So if there are items like that, typically what our estimation team will do is give a range.
Nice.
Say this could be, we're not really sure, but based on our past experience with similar problems, it's in between $5,000 and $10,000 or $1,000 and $2,000, whatever it may be. But once we get out there and do the estimate, it's an accurate estimate. If price is ever an issue, we have a pricing guarantee. So
this is what blows my mind, really. This blows my mind because in the past, until you guys did this, in the past, I would prepare our agents and say, look, guys, this is not Billy Bob and his twin sister, Sally Sue. This is a legitimate, licensee with E&O insurance that, you can... You can make, anyhow, you can have somebody to yell at or whatever you need to.
Right.
This is a legitimate deal is the point. And so it's going to cost more, but no longer. I mean, you guys are guaranteeing.
Yeah. So for any line item on the estimate that we provide, whether it's changing a light bulb or adding a home addition, remodeling a kitchen, doesn't matter. If you get a competing bid for less, just as long as it's apples to apples with a licensed and insured contractor. I always like to joke around and say, okay, your 13-year-old cousin thinks they can remodel your bathroom and they gave a lower bid. That's not going to count, right? We will beat that competing bid by at least 5%, and as much as 10%, just depending on the numbers. We can't lose money on the deal. Obviously, we are a business. But you're right. I used to say that too, Monty. What you said. It feels like, and it is, more of a premium service because we take so much off the plate of the agent and the client. But even with that premium service, sometimes we might be a little bit higher. But if you come to us with another bid, we want to do the jobs.
So price is usually something that comes up, what we talked about. Also timing, right?
Yeah.
Comes up. Normal contract is, let's just say, 30 days.
Right.
What is the timing of repairs?
So great question. Typical repairs, just typical day-to-day things you see on an inspection report. It's going to be maybe 2 to 3 day time period, just kind of depending on our contractors' schedules.
Sure.
Now, that being said, we have multiple plumbers, multiple electricians, multiple handyman, handyman is the primary people that we deal with. If one of them is too busy, we move on to the next one and ask them. So when you request work to be done with us, you give us a time frame. You tell us the closing date. You say, does this need to be completed within a week or 30 days or 60 days or whatever the case may be? So we're aware of your time frame. We work with real estate agents all the time. I've worked with real estate agents. I've been chasing after agents for 8 years.
I know. Amen.
Some of them run faster than others, but I've caught a lot of them over the years. But we understand the life of a real estate agent, and the clock is ticking, oftentimes. So we don't want to be the reason that a client gets frustrated, a deal falls through, whatever the case may be. So we're very accommodating with all of that.
Which I love. So we're talking about a buyer who got their inspection report, right? And the buyer's agent possibly goes back to the listing agent and asks for those repairs to be completed, and then they team up with Punchlist. Or are you speaking with buyer agent A, then goes directly to Punchlist? What would you navigate?
Well, depending on the negotiated situation, but typically, I mean, each one of my cases has been, I've got the listing, and somebody has done the inspection. But what I've done, and I would encourage people to consider this, but let me clarify first of all, how quickly is that turnaround time with the estimate?
A day.
That's what I thought. I didn't want to miss,
including weekends.
I didn't want to misspeak there, but what I typically do is, and I've always done, I guess in every case, now to think about it, before I even break the news to my seller, as far as, oh no, here's what they want.
Okay.
I've already reached out to Punchlist and got the answer to the dilemma so that I can better manage the concerns or fear of the seller. I'll never forget the first time I did that, and then since it works so well, I've done it since, and it always works pretty much the same, is that I had a client who was selling her parents' home. They've been there since the home was brand new, which was like 50 years. I mean, it's a long time. So obviously there was some concerns underneath this house and other things. And so when we got the report back, it was pretty exhaustive. I go ahead and shoot it to Punchlist. Punchlist gets it right back to me. I schedule the next day to meet with her to go over what has been found. And I let her know that it's pretty extensive list, but I believe we've got a solution for it. And so when I go through the list with her, and she goes, oh my God, this is going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars. And I said, what would you say if I told you it only costs $3,000? And she goes, oh, you'd be my hero. We all like to be a hero, don't we?
That's great.
You'd be my hero. And so I said, well, here's the results of this. We've got an amazing company called Punchlist who they'll guarantee their work for a year, so you don't have to worry about it. They come into the house with E&O insurance, and you can trust them. They've been vetted. And she was she was elated because, but the point is, I didn't allow her to go through the stress of waiting for you guys to come back. It only puts more pressure on the results or how quickly you can turn it around. And I think that's, again, part of our value is having a solution before we present the problem.
Right. And I would describe that as being a proactive agent instead of a reactive agent. And I always like to tell agents that, essentially when it comes down to it, any producing residential real estate agent, essentially does the same thing, right? You help people buy or sell homes, right? What makes an agent stand out are these bells and whistles, these value adds.
That's right.
Differentiating factors.
Using great vendors.
All of that, right? We're extensions of you, right? Yeah. So to me, it's a value add. It's a shiny object,
And I love it as a lender. So Wes and I have been friends for a long time. Yeah. And when the world really didn't like, finance there for a period of time, and a government loan was completely like, on AGT, the 3X's, type of thing, he and I would team up a lot, because the reason why they didn't like the government loan was because possibly there would be repairs for the seller to do, right? Right. And so he and I would team up, making sure that we would already give the estimate. And what was really cool about the process for the lender was it was able to be charged at the time of the CD, from the lending standpoint, and it made it a lot easier. And the process kept moving those government loans really smoothly, and that kind of leads us up to what I know you're really excited to share with everybody too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was blown away because, Jason and I were talking recently about this company. And I haven't had a chance to study them like you have, Jason, but do they buy that? How do they, this is another company we're talking about right now, but it's relevant because when you understand what Punchlist will do on more streamlined situations. So this other company, I don't know can we talk about them? I don't care. It doesn't matter, but
Smurby.
Smurby. So what is their,
sounds like,
what is their hook? That they will take care of the repairs. Tell me about.
Yeah, that's what their lead is that they will finance the repairs and the seller pays at closing, and that's what we were looking at and going down that path. We've known Punchlist and love it, but that's when it was just like perfect timing, because all of a sudden then I think it was an marketing email came through, and it was that Punchlist does this. I'm like, wait a minute. So this company does the same thing. So, I was like, well, we can stay with the same company. That would be fantastic.
Right. Somebody we trust.
Yeah.
So here's the deal, guys. You're going to a listing appointment. You get there, and the listing point, the people haven't, it's got some deferred maintenance. Let's say it that way.
It needs the little lipstick.
You've heard other rumors where buyers were putting a contract on something and then getting cold feet because either they got cold feet for whatever reason, or maybe they got the inspection results back and it's like, oh no.
Right.
Because they were totally naive, maybe very inexperienced, or all the different reasons that we've seen why somebody would back out because of the inspection results. When I found out from Wes earlier today that this is true, that you guys will take, let's say we get to that, we're going to that listing, we can see that they've been there for 10 years, nobody's been under the house for all that time. These are red flags, okay? You can be reactive or you can be proactive, just like Wes just said. The best defense is a better offense. The better offense in this situation is being proactive and having at least a pre-inspection done, okay? Get the results, reach out to Punchlist, and then get an estimate, and then they will come in and do the work prior to you listing the property, and your client can pay for it at closing. I mean, this is incredible, man. I mean, they don't have to.
Under
this is incredible.
I think you said,
Under $10,000, they'll come in and do the work. The work has a year guarantee on it, and guess what? It's going to be a lot easier to get that work done without trying to satisfy a scrutinizing buyer. And I'm not saying the buyers do anything wrong. I'm just saying that, again, we're being proactive. It's like it's related to this. Would a builder rather build a spec home or a custom home? A spec home all day long. Why? Because the buyer's not going out there counting the nails and all this kind of stuff. It's easier to get the job done. I'm not saying one works out better than the other. I'm just saying that in this situation, being proactive, the house can be looking so much better.
Right.
You're not only going to probably not have the issues about buyer walking away, but now you can even get the client's probably a premium price because it doesn't have those glaring issues. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, absolutely. And just a little bit of clarification. What we understand, with that pre-list work, you're not always going to have a home inspection. I get that. You can get a pre-inspection if you want to, but I just want to clarify, it does not have to be a home inspection. That's not the only thing that we do estimates.
Right. No, I understand.
Just for the listeners to know that. It could be a list of repairs, a project list, whatever it is. Yeah. It's just typically
honeydews, that have been postponed.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand. I'm just trying to get to the highest level. Would be to get a pre-listing, pre-inspection, and then hand it to you.
Yep. And just as long as that is under $10,000, there's no deposit needed and they can pay at closing. We do typically get them to sign a promissory note. We don't want to fix up their house and then they decide they don't want to move.
That's fair.
I really like it now.
It's beautiful now. I'm taking it off the market.
Yeah.
But to think that you're doing that pre-listing, right? And then you're going to show me as a buyer that here was just the recent inspection, which I like that you were saying get an pre-inspection. Then here's the work that's done, right? And here is this shiny, beautiful home. It's amazing.
Yeah. I'm telling you, when you're competing with other listing agents and you come in with a program like this that is so seamless, it won't cost them anything extra, and they get a premium for the property. Wes, I can't tell you how I'm excited. I mean, I got really super excited when I first heard about Punchlist, because I thought, okay, this is not about waiting for a week and while the buyer loses interest every day to get an estimate. We can get that estimate within a day. That's huge. It's not about freaking out the seller because, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to get workers in here, and you getting on the phone like you said and talking to the plumber and the electrician, all this kind of stuff. It's managing the process, and you're looking like a hero. I'm telling you,
and you're right, because you were saying too that so many of our sellers may be equity rich, meaning they don't have the cash right now to do all the things. Cash poor and equity rich, and they need to be able to borrow against themselves, which I think is a huge win. Now, you did say that, let's just say we walk into a home that really needs some extra love and care, tender love and care. It can be over $10,000.
Yes.
You just put a smaller deposit down up front.
That's right. If the project is over $10,000, this is pre-list that I'm talking about right now. It's typically a 30% deposit.
Not bad.
So I would say if it turns out that your project's going to be $12,000, why not just do 75% of it? So you don't have to make the deposit.
You can do that too.
Think creatively.
Right, think creatively with it. And just to follow up, Carrie Ann, on something you said earlier about the government loans, they require that contractors that work on these houses to be licensed and insured, and they require the proof of repairs. So we provide all that, a paid invoice and before and after pictures as well.
And what I do, because I don't have an inspection, I take the appraisal and send it to him, the repairs on the appraisal.
Okay.
And then that's how they get the list of the repairs. And everything just moves so nicely and smoothly. I think that's the win here. I think, again, we talk all the time. Are you committed? Are you interested? Are you adding value adds? What makes you stand out?
Right.
Values, right? Punch
I can't tell you how many times I've been in the situation where the seller doesn't have the money.
Correct.
And the buyer can't do the repairs. And it has to be done before, like you're talking about, before the loan closes, and it puts everybody in a pickle.
Yeah.
I've had buyers sneak around and do the repairs to satisfy it because the seller didn't have it, but that's not cool, because what if it doesn't close or whatever,
Right.
But
I think if I was a buyer's agent, right, and I wanted to ask for repairs, I probably would already be becoming friends with you, understanding Punchlist a little bit more, right? So I'm already selling to my buyer that, that this repair, you're getting great repair work done, licensed and insured, folks.
Right. And one thing that I always I try to encourage agents about. So, there are certain things that agents do on every single transaction, right? There's bullet points that they follow, right? Add us is a bullet point. At the very least, every inspection report you should get a free estimate, because why not? It's free, right?
Sure.
Be in the habit of that. Now, whether or not you're going to get the work done is going to depend on the transaction and the negotiations.
Right.
We understand that. But at the very least, create a habit, put us in your system, of how you run your business. And if you work with a transaction coordinator, add that to the list of things that you want them to do.
Now, also with the value adds, you may be talking just to your database, and your database they're not ready to sell, they're not ready to buy, but you're providing the value adds, right? And I think you did this one year where you shared my lovely name and number to, about refinancing, right? That kind of thing. Yeah. You then can help your buyers be more protected with maybe an upgrade here or there through Punchlist, right? Which is huge too.
Absolutely.
And that's another win.
Really happy you brought up the database, and it could be your past client database as well. Yeah. Hey, any successful real estate agent doesn't let their past clients forget about them.
Right.
You're churning your database, you're making touches in whatever way that you do that. And this is actually going to segue into something that I'm going to announce that I might get in trouble for announcing something.
We need a drum roll. I like a good drum roll.
Nobody knows about it here in this market yet, but real quickly before I get to that, let's say that you're going through your database as an agent and you don't have a quote reason to call. Really.
Sure.
You don't want to call them and say, hey, how you doing? Do you know anybody looking to buy or sell real estate? You feel like that obnoxious salesperson, right? Mm-hmm. Oh God, here comes Monty calling me again, wanting to, if I want to buy a house or not.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
It's been calling me for 35 years.
Yeah.
Just joking.
Like the extended car warranty calls.
Hey, come on now.
No.
We love you. You got all three of us. That
Wish
time.
I had that kind of persistence.
No, but this is, if they go back, nice, that was great. If they go back and they on their list, there's a client, oh my God, I remember, before closing, just in conversation with this buyer that I worked with, they were talking about, we probably want to remodel this bathroom. That's a reason to call 6 months later, a year later. Hey, how's the house going? I remember y'all talking about that bathroom. Well, hey, I've got this great tool, this partnership with this company that I work with. The agent can put use whatever verbiage they want as far as this is something they're providing. We want to make them
a value add from them to you.
Exactly right. And it's a reason to call.
Sure,
right?
We love those.
Wes, with that in mind,
yes.
let me piggyback on something before, and don't lose your track of where you're heading. Okay, because I'm sitting on the edge of my seat here, wanting to know what are you going to announce. Okay, but imagine this: how many times have we been showing property that everything marks the box of what their buyer's looking for, but it didn't have a fence. I'm assuming you guys have put a fence in?
Sure, yes.
It didn't have an updated bathroom. There was something that kept them from being willing to buy the house. And
that's a good one.
Yeah, and
look at you.
And you just you made that part of the deal with this money, and in knowing the value is there, you went ahead and anyhow, I'm just saying you could be
you
really
quoted it out.
Yeah,
You already
have the numbers there, so you're being real proactive, because there's so many times where the perfect house exists, except that they don't have the money to renew that bathroom, update that bathroom, or put that. They had to have a fence for Fido, and they didn't have the money, or whatever. I'm just saying, if we could be proactive here, again, I think you're going to be a hero. Now tell us what you're going to tell us.
I love these proactive suggestions. I think it's great. You can get really creative with this. Okay, so the announcement, I think that.
We're not going to worry about you getting fired, right?
It is, yeah.
No. So it's another tool that we are providing to real estate agents.
Oh, great.
And caveat here, it is not yet active in Nashville, but it will be soon. I don't have a date for that. But as I mentioned before, any producing successful real estate agent is churning their database, right? They've got some sort of touch program, whether that's just a call, an email, text, mail, whatever, to stay in front of their clients. We are doing what we are calling the VIP maintenance membership program, where
I like this.
A real estate agent can purchase this for their client at closing. The cost is $550, which sounds like a lot, but I used to be in the home warranty world.
Sure.
Remember, and they used to buy home warranties, and that's actually less than what a home warranty costs nowadays. I think warranties are like $700 something nowadays.
Right.
But and we will provide them this beautiful box with it's kind of like a gift presentation type thing with the agent's picture and contact information in there, a couple of like Yeti mugs, a candle, various other items like that. And then throughout the year, that first year of that homeowner purchasing the home, every quarter we go out to the house and do maintenance to the house that's included in that $550. So cleaning the gutters, for example, light maintenance on the HVAC, depending on the season, whether heating or air.
Oh, nice.
Scrubbing the evaporator coils, things like that.
Wow.
It's just it's a light maintenance program, right? And especially for first-time home buyers, I think that's a wonderful gift, because typically a first-time home buyer, they left all their money at the closing table. Right.
I'm not getting on a ladder to clean the gutters.
All of
just
that,
so you know.
yeah.
I'm still not doing that, and I'm not a first-time home buyer, so I'm signing up. So this is called your VIP
Maintenance membership program. That's right.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
And they can pay for that through the closing.
Yes,
Purchase?
they can pay for it at closing, and they can have that box either delivered to the client's house, or that box delivered to the agent, so that the agent could they could bring it to closing if they want, and present it, or maybe a week after closing, go knock on their door.
Follow up.
I like a good follow up. Yeah. Good
and,
delivery.
Right. And every quarter that we do that, when the homeowner has a online portal with us, and when they log into that portal, the agent's face and all their contact information is right there. So they're reminded every time, oh wow, my real estate agent really provided some value to me. Right. Now, if they want to continue it after that year, that's up to the homeowner. The agent's not going to pay for the lifetime of this thing. It's a year. Yeah. But I think it's a really cool thing. I wish I had that box in front of me to show you.
Well, you've done a great job explaining it. I think that I love the warranty idea.
Do you think it's going to roll out within the next 60 days? Or
I would guess yes. We've rolled it out in a couple of markets. At Atlanta and Charleston, and DC is going to be the next one that we're going to roll it out. And we need to work out the kinks. So it's probably better that Nashville's going to be on the later end of it, because we'll work out the kinks. But
I'm excited. I got some ideas with all of that. So
she's always.
I'm always thinking.
So Wes, let me just share this real quickly for those who don't know you. I've known Wes for I guess probably 10 years, something like that, and I love the fact when I found out from your leadership that they had somehow twisted your arm to represent them here locally. I liked Punchlist that much more, because I knew that they had somebody who was solid representing them. Because we all have to believe the messenger before the message matters, and the fact that I believed the message already, but now the messenger is going to be even better representative of the message, because you have a conviction of doing the next right thing always and representing well. So with that said, how do people reach out to you and or their company, or how do they? Those that are watching that want to get connected with being more proactive and not waiting till there's a problem. And remember, guys, let's be proactive. Don't wait till there's a problem.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do reach out again. Wes Poole is my name, Poole. For years, I was known as Warranty Wes when I was in the warranty industry. Now people are calling me Punchlist Poole. So I don't care what you call me, just as long as you call, right?
There you go. I love it.
My phone number is 615-478-3520. And my email address is my first name. That's Wes, W-E-S, dot, last name, Poole, at punchlistusa.com. And one more thing that I would like to share that we're excited about, if you don't mind, is
please.
I'm sure that I would assume that everybody in this room has heard of the National Association of Realtors.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, little company, little organization. So at the end of last year, they announced us as their nationally preferred renovation and repair company.
That's amazing.
Fantastic.
Congrats.
That's a big deal.
It's
that
something
really
we're really
good.
proud about. NAR is not going to make decisions like that lightly, right? They did their due diligence and their research, and they trust us. Hey, here we go. Close the door. They come break in here.
That's really exciting.
Just a little street cred there.
I love that. And so for someone that's not familiar, like we are, but they can go to punchlistusa.com and learn more.
Absolutely. punchlistusa.com. It'll have videos describing what we do. But here locally in Nashville and Middle Tennessee, I am the primary contact.
Yeah, and connect with Wes on social. He's a big supporter with all the things that we do here locally, and you can learn a lot with Wes. So thank you so much for being with us today.
One more time, guys, don't wait until the temptation, especially the newer agents, is to wait till the problem arises and then, what was that name of that? Punch somebody? What was the name of that? No, go online now, and get familiar with it, okay?
Add it to your presentation.
Add it to your presentation. I mean, I'm telling you, this is going to separate a lot of people from the rest by being proactive and having a plan like that.
And buyer's agents and listing agents. If I was buyer's agent, I would want to say, hey, I've got you protected, right? All the things.
Amen. Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Well, thank y'all so much, and I appreciate the kind words, Monty.
Absolutely.
But
Love
back
that.
at you.
Love that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Can't wait to have you come back. You've been listening to The Talk of Music City Real Estate.